This conference will now be recorded.
In our last session, we discussed about how to use a for loop. Just small examples like for loop syntax we understand, and we also did one small exercise on for loop. Today we'll try to understand with multiple examples. Okay, so you can see here program to find the sum of the list elements. I'm not talking about integers or float. In case if you have a list and I want to take a sum of those numbers, how can I do that? In the sense, you have a list. List is nothing but a collection of different values. I have values from 10 to 50 stored in a new variable called x, and sum of current. Since I need to take a sum, each element which is a part of list, I cannot pick up all the elements together. I have to pick up one element, later another element I can able to pick up. The detailed session on list will be happen tomorrow. I mean tomorrow session, not today's session. So today we are just trying to close the control statements. So I'm trying to take a couple of examples. Please bear with me about the list. So as per the concept of list, we cannot combine all elements in one shot. Let me show you the reason also. X equal to 10, 20, 30, some number. Now if I say print of x, what will be displayed? Will it display 10, 20, 30? Means no. It will be displayed 10, 20, 30. But how can I do the sum here? In the sense, I can take a for loop to pick up each element, then I can do the sum. In the sense, it will be like something like this. The for loop which I have, which we discussed in the last class, I'm going to use the for loop here. So before taking any element, first ensure that the sum, one variable will be defined. Currently, my concept is sum of multiple elements. So I taken one variable called sum equal to 0, and I need to pick up the variables from elements from the list. So for p in x is nothing but list. So p in x, sum equal to sum plus p. So in the first iteration, the sum value is 0, 0 plus p. P is nothing but first element in the list. So 10. 0 plus 10 will become as 10. That new value, whatever we are getting because of addition, will be stored back to sum. Now when you see the print, after all the iterations, the system is going to display the sum value as 150. You can see here. Amara, it's not the way what I'm looking. I'm looking for each iteration the sum value. So right now what is happening means after adding all the values, system is displaying the some value. But now my requirement is something in each iteration. Whenever you start adding a new variable, system has to give the sum value. For example, for sum equal to 0, since I need to define a variable, then for I in x, sum equal to sum plus I. Now print sum. Again, I'm taking one more print here for final outcome. Grand total, grand sum. Now, what is the difference between this sum and this sum? In the sense, this sum in each iteration, it will be displayed the outcome as a print, and this one, because of indentation, after completion of all the iterations, the final grand sum will come. You can see first iteration, second iteration, third iteration. and finally you are getting 16. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, Amar.
Similarly, the for loop you can able to use it on string also, not only the numerical data. Even if you have a string character data, you can able to apply it. For an example, I have a string called Amar, x equal to Amar. The string can be in single quotation, double quotation, or a triple quotation. So right now I'm using double quotation. So whenever I use a for loop, system is going to pick up each and every letter one after one, and it will be displayed. Now you can see Amar for I in X. So I is a temporary variable to pick up the letters from the x variable. So x has a string. So system is going to pick up each and every letter one after one. Then print I. So the system is going to display the values like this: A M A R. Now after that, I just given one more syntax called print slash n. This is only to give a gap between one output to other output, nothing but this space. The space which I rounded only for that reason I maintain that is not a part of any program. There might be a requirement you have to display the same letter multiple times or multiple locations. So if you want to be display multiple times, we discussed we can apply a function called asterisk. If I use a asterisk, system is going to take multiple times, a number of times. So right now the same letter has to be displayed 3 times. So Amar is the string, and for I in X, print I multiply 3. So I multiply 3 means I'm expecting the same letter to be displayed 3 times. And again, I'm just giving some space, print slash n. Now, what my intention is, I don't want to display the values or a letters or a numbers which is there in my X variable, but I want to display different message, different information using a for loop. The number of letters are available in my X variable. So right now, if you see, I have X variable called Amarnath. Nothing but length is 8. AMARNADH. Total 8 length is 8. Now my intention is the for loop has to execute 8 times. So when I use for P in X, print good morning. So this for loop will be executed 8 times. The reason is P is going to pick up each letter from the X. X has first letter is A. So system is going to, the P is going to pick up A first, and it will print good morning. Again, second iteration, P is going to pick up M, and it is going to print good morning. And in third iteration, P is going to pick up A, the second A, and it is going to print good morning, and so on. So finally, the system, the P is going to pick up H, and it will display good morning. What is our understanding here means, the letters whatever I have in X is just for my iteration purpose I'm using, but my intention to display the outcome is going to be different. Nothing but the message is going to be different. It is not mandatory that the input and output should be the same. Input of X I'm using only for iteration purpose, and the exercise or expressions what I want to use it in for loop can be different. Clear? Any questions in this?
Good, Amar.
What if I want to run this for loop for 100 times? Do I need to write Amarnath 100 times or A 100 times? Is it possible for us? Or if I want to execute the for loop for 1 lakh times, do I need to write letters, 1 lakh letters or 1 lakh numbers? Is it possible? This is not possible. So what I can do is I can use a range function. For an example, the for loop has to be executed 10 times, or length of number of records in your CSV file. So in my CSV file, it's a dynamic. Today it can be 1 million, and tomorrow it can be 100 million, or day after tomorrow it can be only 10 records. So the length can be changed according to the requirement. Am I right? Are you agreeing with it?
Summer.
So those scenario, the length has to be decided based on the range. So range is going to be, range is to generate a random, generating a range of the value starting from 0 to some number. The number is nothing but what you are going to decide. So it is similar like your forward is an index only. So 0 to n minus 1. So if I give range of 10, it's saying that 0 to 9. 0 is the starting value, 9 is the ending value, total 10 numbers. Clear? Now range I given and I store it into x value. Now you can see here. X equal to range of 10. Just for an example, print x. System is not going to display 0 to 9 value. System is going to display the starting and ending number. You can see this. Then how can I use this range function? 0 to 10. 0 to 10 is nothing but 0 to 9, n minus 1. How can I use these numbers in the sense? Only by using for loop. For I in x, print I. System is going to pick up the first number from the x value, x variable, and it is going to display. Similarly, the last number is going to be n minus 1, nothing but 10 minus 1 is going to be 9, it is got displayed. So system is going to pick up each and every letter or a number from the variable and it start displaying it. Amar, I want to display the square of the range of 10. So take it like this. Who said no? Now you can see the square is displayed, or cube. Cube is displayed. So according to the need, you can decide whether you have to do the sum, multiplication, any aggregate function. You can decide it. You name it. We can do that. Hope you are clear with that. Now I want to display some text, maybe for 10 times. Then able to display. I can display like this. I just use range function 10 times it has to display for I in x. So first time 0 will be pick up for I, and within the for loop the block will be executed. Again it will go back to second letter and it will pick it up. So total 10 times it will be executed. Hello is displayed. Now my problem here is, because Python has a functionality, it starts from 0. But when I come into reality, the number starts from 1. I want something to be displayed like this. So don't you think that when I give like this, first iteration, second iteration, so up to 9th iteration, the business user may confuse, right? Why I'm getting 0? My numbers will start from 1. Are you getting my point? Generally, when you start counting anything, we start with 1. We'll not start with 0. So how to handle this? Very basic question. Not even a very, not basic, very, very basic question.
Indexing.
I'm not talking about indexing. I'm talking right now the range function is working from starting with 0 and with n minus 1. So that is the reason you can see 0 to 9. But in reality, the numbers will count from 1 only. And correct, 1 to 10 will just count it, but will not take 0 to 9. Though you are a Python developer, you can understand 0 to 9 is nothing but 10 numbers. As a business user, he cannot understand who is your client. So you have to change the number from 0 to 9 to 1 to 10. How to change?
We need to initialize I value equal to 1.
Obviously, yes. I'm agreeing with you. I equal to I plus 1. Done. Now you can see. Do you think that this is going to be a big deal? If you understand the logic. If you understand the business logic, writing a program is such a easy. Did you find anything difference in the sense? I did not find any difference. The only one thing is the previous one was Python logic, Python practice what we follow. Second is business logic. My business will start from 1, so I made it as 1. I equal to I plus 1, or as we discussed, we can go for equivalence. I plus equal to 1. Same answer. So you need to be understand the business logic first. What exactly the client wants. When I'm giving the assignment, I'm not at share the assignments. I'm just giving what if I change something, what will happen, or can I do like this? Just I'm trying to give the hints. Once I share the business logic, that covers your data types, that covers your uh, control statements, that covers your definitions. The functions what you learned, some mean or average, minus, division, all these are predefined functions. But I'm not expecting those predefined functions. I'm expecting you to create a new function which you can use it in your program, which is a reusable code. So all these things will come once we complete our functions. I will share you maybe some 100 lines of 100 rows of my data. You should be in a position to write a code in such a way, and that should be optimized. I'm not expecting 100 lines of code like Java. It should be very small and sweet code by writing your definitions, by taking help of your control statements. You should be in a position to give the outcome. Then only there is a justification for Python. Or else I can go with Java or C. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
No, my requirement is what is this? Ten times it's displaying one after one. In each line, one iteration is executed. But I'm expecting all hellos to be in one line. Can I? Is it possible? Is it possible to display in one line?
Yes, Amma.
How?
I star 9.
No. If you remember, I explained you one function called end.
Yeah, I forgot.
Now I want to give a separation between one iteration to other iteration outcome with comma. So hello, comma, hello, comma, hello. It will be displayed 10 times. So similarly, if you want to take the even numbers to be displayed, odd numbers to be displayed, in a range function, the starting number you can give, ending number you can give, finally the increment number. So just now what I showed you is range of 10. Range of 10 is nothing but I'm just giving 10 only. So that is going to be my ending number. The system by default system will assume that the starting number is going to be 0. So 0 to 10 system will take. I assume like that. No more, my number has to start with some number, maybe 20th number. And my ending number is going to be 30. And I don't want to display all 10 numbers. I want to display alternative numbers. Then increment number you can give. So you can see here, a range. My starting number is supposed to be 20. My ending number is supposed to be 30. And increment of 2. That means from 20, alternative numbers will be displayed. So 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, that's all. Why not 30 means 30 is nothing but n minus 1. Up to 29 only it will be stopped. So you can see here. Clear? Do you want to display the numbers in a descending order? You can range function also can use. So range 40 to 30. It's from top of higher number to lower number, and negative I'm giving negative 1. That means from 40 up to 31. 30 is going to be the last number. That means one number before that. 31 is going to be displayed. So 40, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, and so up to 31. So you can see the numbers here. So the starting number, ending number, and the increment type, whether it's positive or negative. If it's the numbers are going from starting to ending in a higher side, give positive. If you want a descending order, give negative. Any questions? Clear?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just writing small code, small piece of code. What is the difference you can find out here? From the first program to second program. So in the first program, I assign the values to x variable, then I refer the x variable to the for statement. In my second program, I don't have x variable, I directly assign the values or a range of the values to for loop. So my program length has been reduced from 3 lines to 2 lines. Don't you think that in overall program level, if you're following this kind of optimization steps, the entire program will be reduced? And don't you think the performance of the program will be increased? So wherever it's possible, try to reduce the code. So we'll discuss about future also, but just since we are in control statements, I'm just explaining at control statements level. You can see the same thing here. So in the previous step, every time I just refer to one variable, like I assign the values to one variable, then I refer the value to my for loop. I utilize that. But in this current scenario, I did not have any x variable at all. I directly, you can see here, I just refer the variable, the same previous example and current examples are same. But the only one thing is, I don't have x variables at all. I used in my for loop itself. Wherever it's possible, I'm not telling every scenario it is possible, but wherever it's possible, try to reduce the code and see whether you can able to use the previous variables or previous functions which are used by you or utilized by you. That will be good enough. So that will be reduce the length of the code which you're using. If the code is reduced, automatically the performance of the Python code will be increased. So no one will come back and say that the performance issue is there, or I am working on some program which is taking 10 minutes of time, which can be, we can able to optimize it. All these questions will not become. The previous one is the normal code what we use, and this is going to be your optimized code. So because writing 2 for loops, I reduce 2 lines. What if I have 10 loops in my program? 10 lines can be reduced if possible. Not every scenario. Hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say.
Yes, Samar.
So same thing you can see here. Z equal to range of 20, 30, 2. I have I in Z, print I. So I got my values. Similarly, optimization technique also same. X equal to range of 10. Then I refer the X to my for loop. But here in this case, for P in range of 10, print P directly given. So system has been displayed 0 to 9 values. Similarly, even numbers to be displayed. Or there might be a requirement that is for optimization. There is another requirement or another case study. You need to create a table. You need to create a table, maybe multiplication table. How to create a multiplication table? Just think logically. One multiply one equal to one. One multiply two equal to two. One multiply three equal to three, and so on up to one multiply 10 equal to 10. This is the way the table will be created, right? Any other method we have? What we learned in our childhood? So I want to display this multiplication table using a Python code. One question here is, I don't want to go for dynamic, static. I want to go for dynamic. That means the user will decide the table name, table number, according to, and whatever he enters, the table has to be created. If I enter 5, fifth table has to be created, 5 number table. If I enter 10, the system has to display 10 table, and so on. So just think logically. How can I create? X equal to whatever.
We can do assign the input
Mhm.
and enter the number.
Okay, I just created, but right now it is going to take it as a static, character. So I just converted into integer.
Yeah, we need to provide the integer.
Okay, done. Now,
Next, we need to assign the range. Like earlier we talked, right? So 1 to 10 means 1 to 11, we need to provide the range.
okay, good. So I am assigning to Z, some number I'm assigning. Okay, good.
Then Z into X.
Okay, Z equal to X. Oh, Z into X. Okay.
Yeah, Z into X.
Okay, I'm assigning to Y. Okay, done.
Then print statement. Print statement. One.
Table value.
Yeah, table value.
Y.
Y. Yeah.
Now, what is going to be happen here if I use this? Let's see the outcome. Sorry, that is my bad. I just entered this character. Now, what is your understanding?
And operand type, star, range, and integer.
Right. So you created Z as a range from 1 to 10 iteration,
Okay.
and you're trying to multiply with integer.
Yeah. Oh, we need to assign that range is integer.
No, the functionality will not work.
Okay.
So
No,
range can be used in for statement. range can be used.
Correct. You are correct.
So for
For
what I
range,
can do here?
for
range,
jet
okay, jet
in
range.
range 1 to 11.
Okay, good. Then what you want to do here?
Here we need to
I want
multiply.
display. No, listen. The user wants 1 multiply 1 equal to 1. 1 multiply 2 is nothing but 2. So 1 is nothing but the user input.
Yeah.
So
User
print
input means x
x comma
and star
multiply comma
and jet.
jet has to be displayed. Correct.
Okay.
Comma equal to what I want to display?
X into z, right?
X into y.
Yeah, x into y. Where is the y?
I mean to say x into z. Correct.
Yeah.
Done. Single line over.
Okay. And so close to then. Line 10.
No. That is my mistake. My system. No.
Yeah.
Giri, are you getting? Think
Yes,
logically.
yes.
Control statements are such a easy. Now, my requirement for you is for assignment. I want to display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then square of this. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Up to 10, 20, 30, 40, up. What happened this? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So the numbers has to be displayed like this. The previous one was table, which is 1. Nothing but 1 row, what you created. Now, I want column and row together. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, Mark.
The previous one was only 1 for loop. Now 2 for loops. That's all. Within the loop, one more loop, nested loop. So how to execute? Create one more loop on top below. I mean within this loop. So how many times the row has to be displayed? 10 times. How many times the column has to be displayed? 10 times. If you observe here, every row has multiply with the corresponding column. So 1 multiply 1 into 2, 1 into 3, 1 into 4, 1 into 5, 1 into 6, 1 into 7, up to 1 into 10. So my main for loop has to be multiplied with my sub for loop and display it for my column. Are you getting my point?
Yes, Amma.
So this one here, for I in the range of 1 to 11, what you know so far, within the loop, I'm creating sub loop, nothing but for j in a range of 1 to 11, nothing difference. I want 10 rows and 10 columns. The first one is for row, second is for column. So the result I'm storing in I into j and display the results. Done. You can see 1 to 10 you are getting. Or if you want table equal to the table value equal to something has to be displayed, just type that information also in single or double quotation. Are clear or not? Anyone have
Yes,
any questions?
No.
How about
Yeah, I'm good, Amar.
Gemini? So we'll draw for the day, and tomorrow we'll discuss about few more data types which we not discussed, called list, tuple, set, and data dictionaries. So these are 4 different types are important. once we finish that, we'll go for functions. So far the functions what we use are existing functions or inbuilt functions of Python. But if I'm asking you to create a new function, how to create it and how to use that function for your real-time scenario, we had discussed. Those
Okay.
things will
Okay.
and the slides will be shared to you maybe this weekend. Almost I
Okay.
completed up to set. Set is completed. Then tuple and dictionary. These two will be updated and I'll forward to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
I am.